Our second speaker today is Saffron Saunders from Sussex Innovation Centre. Saffron, welcome, and over to you.
Thank you, Asha. Hello, I'm Saffron and welcome to Sussex Innovation Centre, which was one of the first of its kind to set up in the UK in the late 1990s. Supported by the University of Sussex and free local authorities, the intention was to support local entrepreneurs working in tech by bringing them together in a serviced office environment. In 2015, after much debate and research, a second innovation centre opened in Croydon. Let's face it, if you're in deep Sussex, Croydon is London. The intention now to support local entrepreneurs and the already growing economy in a new geographical footprint. We have 2 floors of the prestigious #1 Croydon, which is only 1 minute walk from East Croydon Station and only 13 or 15 minutes from London Bridge and Victoria, respectively. Also very quick for visitors and staff members from Sussex. And we now have Box Park, which is amazing. Just another serviced office provider, you might say. Well, we pride ourselves on being much more than just office space. We employ a team of full-time consultants available to fit around your team whenever necessary. Here you can see some of my lovely colleagues and their business expertise. There's 30 of us, so there's always somebody around for a quick word of wisdom. We also run a unique scheme called Catalyst, which is a grad scheme with a difference. It's hugely oversubscribed, but gives grads and work placement students a 12-month experience working with our members. They learn so much in that time, and the businesses love the flexible access to talent, and it's a win-win situation. Many of them are employed after too. One of the main reasons members are so supported is for our close stakeholder relationships across the region. The university affiliation brings knowledge exchange opportunities and other advantages. Other connections bring grant and funding fortuities. You may ask how we keep things going. Well, where possible and through our great network, we draw on government grants to support our business community. Funded support such as ring-fenced European funding projects and local projects such as Hot House. Such projects help pay for our time to deliver expert advice to your business. We're not only a great place for businesses to call home, but even the London Growth Hub has taken up residence at Sussex Innovation for its South London spoke. This brings even wider financial support to members and new opportunities. We also have our own investment programme, Sus Ventures, which is cultivating investment pots for members. Okay, one for a laugh here. This was last year's Croydon Business Awards, which we've always attended, but last year, after 4 years trading, we decided to enter, and we wiped the floor clean. We won Best for Customer Services, Eva won Best Most Enterprising Young Person for her achievements, and Hosa, one of our tenants, won Best Business for Digital, Data and Technology. A very proud night for us all. Having been here 5 years already, we have alumni. Most of these businesses were with us and outgrew our space and took their own leases in Croydon in other buildings. Some have been acquired. Past sectors have included EdTech, PropTech, GovTech and FinTech. Current members are predominantly MarTech and GovTech. I think you may be hearing from some of these members later today. And obviously we heard from Henson IT in Maddie earlier. I've not listed everybody, just some of our active tenants here. A piece of work we can produce from business is a deep dive research piece known as a white paper. We have produced a white paper every year for Natterbox, a voice-based CRM SaaS company based in our building. They use this research to kick off their entire marketing plan for the year and see great results. I thought I'd like to share how we've adapted over the past 6 months. Only receptionists were furloughed and we kept going, supporting businesses throughout the pandemic. Here's a clip of one of our daily huddles, which have been great, keeping morale and productivity high with a rotation of personal presentations, which have helped us all to get to know each other even better than before. We've worked hard to diversify our female founder count over the past 3 years, supporting and breeding confidence into women to become leaders and develop and run their own businesses. This mission continued throughout lockdown online and has become a regular monthly social. We took a while to respond to the Black Lives Matter movement by working behind the scenes, developing a Black Lives Matter committee, and now have a diversity action plan designed to make membership and employment with us not just diverse, but inclusive. We also ran a weekly webinar service and are now at week 24. We have covered subjects all designed to help businesses survive and thrive during lockdown and beyond. Subjects included accessing grants, mental health awareness, crowdfunding, crisis management, and much more. And we've now developed a programme to help business leaders lead out of lockdown. These are one-to-one sessions led by our consultants covering subjects such as building team culture, motivating a remote team, or pivoting your business for the new world. Just referring back to the grad scheme Catalyst, at the moment exclusively for Sussex grads. We're working hard to bring this opportunity across South London and working with the Roehampton and Kingston universities to try and develop that. It's a wonderful scheme that works so well for all involved. So we're office space, but we're not just office space. We have a variety of offices and meeting rooms with flexible terms. And I think any entrepreneur knows things can be very unpredictable when scaling a tech business. So flexibility is of paramount importance. You can go into a bigger room or a smaller at any time. And here's our mission statement, even too much for me to even read in 20 seconds. But what we're trying to get across is that we're just much more than office space. Our members' success is our success. It's not just a place, it's a peer group. And we'd love to welcome you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Saffron. It's really, really great to hear what you're doing and how you and the team are supporting like-minded, ambitious companies, which is really, really important, particularly in these times. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Asha.
Next up, we have Amy Everett from the Home Office. Thank you very much for being here today, Amy. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. All right. If we were right to skip to the next slide, if it's possible. Thank you. So my name's Amy and I'm Deputy Head of User Research in the Home Office. I started working in the tech industry as a front-end developer and then a UX designer, but I was becoming more interested in the relationship between people and technology. So I transitioned into user research about 7 years ago and studied digital anthropology part-time at UCL as my postgrad, which was a really rewarding experience. So moving on to what the Home Office does. We deliver services across policing, immigration, borders and passports. And our services aren't just for people in the UK. We have systems that check border crossings. Our passport application service includes people who live in British overseas territories. And we deal with a large amount of visa applications as well. Oh, I think we've just skipped over one. Thank you. Our mission as Digital Data and Technology Directorate, we have outcomes that we're trying to achieve. We want to improve technology experiences, not just for the public, but also for our employees. So we do a lot of service transformation internally. We're also future-proofing the Home Office, engaging with technology ideas that are on the horizon and continuing to develop our ways of working as well. And these are just some of the roles within our directorate, many of which are in Croydon. These roles work together in multidisciplinary teams in specific areas of the organisation, enabling teams to build up an understanding of user needs and technologies that are specific to that area. You may notice we have a dedicated accessibility and digital inclusion team, and I'll talk a little bit more about them later. So the Digital Data and Technology Directorate is made up of around 2,500 staff, but we're growing all the time. Our main delivery centre is in Croydon, with project teams working across 3 different offices in the borough. But we also have teams in Sheffield and Manchester and satellite offices in Southport, Westminster, Liverpool, West London and North London. In our work, we follow an agile framework in which teams engage in different activities at different project stages. This allows teams to properly understand the problem space in which they're working and define the direction of work for later stages in the project. it's really important that we design services that function well. People can't choose to go elsewhere for a visa or to report a crime, so it's vital for our users that they can complete their processes successfully. We build our services using standard design elements that have been through a vast amount of usability testing, as opposed to designs or technologies that may be popular at the time. And user research is about finding out how users currently engage with services. So our researchers spend a lot of time in the environments in which users are engaging in their tasks. This can be in office, such as with caseworkers, spending a day with police officers on the beat, or making home visits to people with access needs who may find it difficult to travel to one of our usability labs. And our project teams spend a lot of time together to collect their research data. They look for themes in the data to ensure they can be confident in their findings, and they use this evidence to inform a project's next steps. Of course, in the last 6 months, this teamwork time has been entirely remote, which has been a steep learning curve for us, as I imagine it has been for a lot of people. I mentioned briefly before that we have an accessibility and digital inclusion team. This is because as a public sector organisation, we have to ensure that our services are accessible to everyone, no matter their access need or digital skill level. So this team works with project teams to ensure that users with assistive technology can complete our digital services. 1 in 5 adults in the UK find it difficult to complete tasks online, such as sending an email or uploading a file. So it's important when we design and build our services that we take these users into account. This means that we specifically recruit user research participants that have low digital skills to make sure that our services are as easy to use as possible. And when we design our digital services, we may also put something called assisted digital support in place to help users with low digital skills. This can be in the form of a phone line or face-to-face support. Our research evidence drives the design of this support where it's needed, but ultimately it's about providing support to the user to be able to engage with the online service. A lot of Home Office services involve paper forms like this one. Sometimes our work in the Directorate involves making these paper forms better, as well as designing a digital service. But a lot of the time we're working to move a service from being paper to being digital. So I'm going to talk you through some of the projects we've recently been working on. All right, so one of our recent projects is the EU settlement scheme. This service has integration with HMRC and DWP to help applicants prove that they've been in the UK, and our app uses near-field communication to read a chip in an ID document. These technologies mean that most applicants don't need to post any paperwork, and this can speed up the time it takes to get an outcome from the service. And we recently worked on redeveloping our Home Office legacy system in the UK's £74 billion biosciences industry. During the research, we identified a number of problems, for example, external users having to resubmit their applications up to 4 times. We've now built a service that's a government exemplar for large-scale digital transformation. And we have a series of automation projects across the Home Office. For example, we've been processing digital adult renewal passport applications using automated checks such as facial matching and fraud indication, and tactical automation projects that use tools like robotic process automation to manage a sudden increase in demand from other government departments due to COVID. And then lastly, we recently set up our CoLab. So CoLab is a small team of designers, researchers and technologists who collaborate with people affected by Home Office policies and services, as well as frontline staff and subject matter experts. CoLab uses research to understand and map out problem spaces from multiple perspectives so that they can clearly define the problem to be solved. Thank you very much.
Lovely, thank you very much, Amy. Lots to take in there and really great to hear about such interesting projects that you're doing. So thanks very much. Our next speaker is Francois Massoudier from Tomorrow Tech Hub. Welcome, Francois.
Thanks, guys. I have this feeling that I'm the only one without a script or a slide. So if you're not from Croydon and you don't know me, you're going to have to follow because we're going to be quite quickly. I'm the old man of tech. I'm the veteran. I've been doing this for over 25 years. I've been lucky to be in 8 technology companies, one of them, the lovely startup, all the way to a NASDAQ IPO. And the other ones have gone bankrupt. They've been restarted. They've been refinanced. I did pretty much every job. I'm going to talk about tomorrow. We are the best, of course, the biggest, the shiniest, new toy in Croydon in South London. If you're a tech company, you should really come and check us out. It's an amazing project that was part of the regeneration of South London, funded by central government and the Croydon Council. And it's a space that's quite unusual, and I'm going to explain how. We've got the usual trappings of the cafe on the high street and all sorts of really funky design. We have three businesses in sorts. The first one is providing you with space, which looks cool, and it's all Danish and Swedish design. That's where I spent most of my early technology years, and I've brought that with me. We've got amazing event spaces where we run rock concerts and fashion shows and loads of more corporate stuff in it. You have, if you want to have a big event, come and see us. And then we have a twice awarded food place called Bite. That's roughly what our space looks like, which we think is rather unusual, especially south of the river. You're going to have your own private offices looking something like the one on the top left, or co-working. We have windows to every desk. We have fresh air, not just aircon. We have open desk furniture, which is a crowdsourced furniture. And we have a community that, unlike some others hugging and pretending to be the WeWork hipsters, actually works with each other. We've generated almost £750,000 since we opened between members, real cash spent between themselves. The copywriters talking to the programmers, who are talking to the designers, et cetera, in an infinite loop of value. So it's good business to be at tomorrow. We provide 4 pillars for companies, building companies. The first one is advising them what not to do. Typically, I've made plenty of mistakes, so I share those. And then we help them get funding, because without that, the lifeblood stops. And then we have them get the right staff on board, and then we have them get commercial traction. It's kind of obvious, but very few do it, especially the WeWorks of this. So we're designed to do this. If you've got a really advanced, we have a lot of super advanced techies, bedroom programmers who have left bedroom. We put them in front of some of the best and finest early stage investors like Fred Destin at the bottom left. If you're from the tech industry, you'll recognize some of the guys on the bottom right, the founders of Moshi Monsters, the investors behind Deliveroo and Zoopla, Photobox, and loads of other really cool e-commerce. And then on the top right, I'm not sure I need to tell you who that is. We then help you with staffing, and we get the young companies and not so young, then find amazing talent right here in South London with our South by South jobs staffing event. We had 40 companies, about 800 jobs. It was an amazing event, which we're planning to do again soon, making sure that we're not doing this on our own. We've got an amazing team, which is why people come south of the river to get the contacts from us, from the finest investors, early and late stage, to the largest accelerators, to IoT designers, and then serial money-making machines, the guys behind Candy Crush, the guys who built 7 companies, etc. We also have now direct access to 400 VC funds and 2,500 pan-European investment institutional funds. So that's how we get our companies funded at scale. It sounds obvious, but it's very difficult to maintain, and we have a program for this, which I'll cover in a few minutes. Finally, the 4 pillar I explained. Once you're staffed, financed, and growing fast, you're going to need large contracts, you're going to need partnerships, and this is typically what we engage with. So we have a large amount of local companies and not local companies, local, national, and international, working with us. They're obviously very excited to see what's happening on site. What is the new innovation? What is the new alarm and security systems? 3 examples I take. One of our companies is RotorReady, which is replacing staff sheets and timesheets and all of that for large-scale hotel chains or bars, replacing them with a mobile solution. I got them about £1 million. Half of that is from private friends of our network that invested this. They're now growing super fast and have clients like Brewdog and some major hotel chains. They obviously took a dip with the reception. They're doing well again. Aliap is one of my personal favorites. The world is full of allergies. Nobody's figuring out what to do about them. Aliap can detect way in advance and prevent allergies from happening or flare-ups. Again, I got them 2 rounds of funding, about 600K plus in total. I'm on the board. Company is now growing super fast. One of the leaders. Another one in health technology. They started with us. There were 2 people. They're now 25. They raised 1 to 40 million and introduced them to US investors. They have a technology that sees through your eyes, your skin. It's an amazing image management platform that allows you to replace medical systems with very cheap technology. And all of that is run into a program called the Fundraising Bootcamp. We help companies get away from the noise and the crap and actually look at what matters if you want to get funded efficiently and quickly and from the right funds. Too many people take money from people that should not take money because of lack of contacts. So in 4 days, super intensive, packed, action-packed. We normally finish at 10. We show them things that they're not going to get online. They're not going to get in the books and the theoretical classes that may be available. We give them very hardcore knowledge, insider knowledge of what VCs actually do, think, the process to complete, and then give them the dark side of taking bad investments and how to avoid them, how to assess their funds, what investors actually look. And all of this is taking place right here in South London, in Croydon, the new. I've done this before in Shoreditch in 1999, where people were laughing at me for moving east. Look at it now, and I really feel that there are now people, dynamics, and now investors and people like me, the old guys who build businesses right here in one place. So if you haven't been here, definitely come and pay us a visit. We're right on the high street, and we'd love to help your business.
Thank you very much, Francois. You really are delivering and playing a really vital role in building and helping to drive our tech community. So thank you very much for all that you're doing.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Paul Eastman from Superdrug. Welcome, Paul, and over to you.
Thanks very much, Asha. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My name's Paul Eastman. So I am head of customer and digital technology here at Superdrug and Savers. We're part of the AS Watson group. So we're far from the end of startups as a big, one of the world's largest multinational health and beauty retailers that have obviously a famous presence on the high street here. We are, as Superdrug at least, based in Croydon and pleased to be here and proud to be here. We've been in this area for a long time, having previously had an office over by the recycling and the rubbish dumps in Beddingfield. But now we are smack next to East Croydon Station to make sure that we're super accessible to the talent coming in. As I said, we're part of the AS Watson family. So this is a primarily Asian and European health and beauty organization. We have over, I think it's more than 10,000 stores globally. You know, we're competing with the sort of Walgreens, Boots, Alliance or organizations based out of Hong Kong, and that gives us a whole bunch of benefits. We have 3 very famous brands on the high street. So Superdrug has about 850 bricks and mortar stores. Savers is one that not so many people are there, but that's growing rapidly at over 500 stores, and it's the discount health, beauty, home end of the market. And then the prestige and luxury fragrances with the perfume shop, and that's about another 500 or so. We have a very extensive online and digital presence that's increasingly growing. We've got a Superdrug website, a Superdrug mobile app, a Superdrug pharmacy and healthcare app, a Savers mobile website. So Savers business went live just last year, and we're now expecting over 500,000 transactions this year. The Superdrug site's going to have about 6.5 million transactions this year, so very large. We're a collaborative organization. We're agile, at least with a lowercase a. We're very nimble. We've got a wonderful office here that actually I'm one of the few people in the offices today. That is designed to make it a collaborative space to work with our head office customers. There's about 600 of us in head office, of which just over 90 of those are technologists based in this office in Croydon here. So we are doing everything from website development, front and back end, to application development, to DBAs, to business analyst tests, and the full gamut of technology is done by a varied and diverse and inclusive group. But we're incredibly lucky as well as part of the group to therefore be supported by parts of AS Watson as a whole. And we like to have labs. So we've got an eLab, that's an in-house digital agency which has an office in Shoreditch. We've got Data Lab, that's data science and CRM systems. We've got AI Lab. So that's the cutting edge machine learning capabilities. And so as a business from Superdrug and Savers that you might think is a little bit behind the times, we're very, very progressive actually with the technology that we're using in store. And we'll go into a few examples of the tech that we are building, developing and rolling out that we think for the retail space. Actually, we know for the retail and the major high streets, we are there. We've just launched, actually we've now launched a second one today, an augmented reality makeup check. So I was going on a date and I didn't know quite what to have. So I was able to come on here and check out what did I want for my eyeliner, what did I want for my mascara, what did I want for my lipstick, and then do that all on the app and stick it into the basket. So we've got augmented reality. We've just deployed a virtual reality help desk for IT support in post-COVID times. How do I get my support through an agent, through a bot, directly to my desk? So we're pushing out all those sorts of areas. I think we're about to touch onto a piece around Internet of Things. I suspect. Oh no, yeah. So in COVID times, we've been very quick to respond to warehouse fulfillment. We suddenly shot up our business super fast, and we've now had to convert stores into e-commerce fulfillment that have delivered over 1.4 million customer orders since March out of our store environment. We stood up in a few weeks a last mile Stuart home delivery service, so the sort of Uber Eats type service for retail. We're using artificial intelligence and machine learning to do promotional forecasting and new SKUs. Our business is fully dependent on bringing brand new products in to get excited customers, but we need to use AI to understand how much should we buy, where should we put it, what's the right thing there. We've just deployed some IoT based on a Raspberry Pi to tell our stores when they've got click and collect orders in and how long they've got to pick those. We've got a customer promise 30 minutes from ordering to collecting in store. So we're leveraging IoT to make sure that our store colleagues know that they've got an order, know where to get it from, and innovating around Raspberry Pi. We've been rolling out robots with RPA, and we've just gone live a couple of weeks ago with our first robotic process automation activity to automate some of our more mundane tasks. But how do we get we're helping our colleagues focus on value add rather than repetitive entry. And I'll let the video do the talking here for this one. We've just rolled out a brand new robot and an easy med service for my healthcare business. We're a very large digital health organization, and we supply NHS and private prescriptions, but we've been one of the first in the UK to market with robotic pouching. So if you take multiple medications in a day, every single one of your pills can come in an individual pack. You rip it off, you open it, and it's got 2 or 3 pills what you need for that dose, and then you rip the next one off and rip the next one off and rip the next one off to really help with how do we improve the service that we're offering using robotics. And so actually that's just gone live a couple of weeks ago. We've been using technology now to keep our people connected, and I had my first meeting of Stronger Together. I love the pun there. That is one of our IT people, I'm afraid, doing the together pun. But this is connecting people across the business to have coffee chats and tea chats, to meet each other, and using Microsoft Teams to join people together and recommend people. And we're in an incredibly lucky position to be hiring. We're actively hiring business analysts, software developers, front-end developers, testers right now in our IT organization, and our retail business is surviving and thriving, and technology is absolutely existential to this. So we're in a joyous place to be hiring and bringing talent, hopefully getting great talent from this area and bringing talent into Croydon. And obviously we are, happy, diverse, engaged, and really making the best that we, looking to bring the best talent in and make great opportunities for talented people in the borough. So we are pleased and proud to be here, and hopefully contributing a lot, and it will be great to network with more businesses in the area.
Thank you very, very much, Paul. Some really, really exciting innovation in tech there. And I have to say that lipstick shade really did suit you. So I'm sure your date with this was a success with that colour.
Oh, yes.
Thank you very much. We now have Claire van der Zandt presenting from Unicodo. Lovely to have you, Claire, and over to you.
Thank you. Oh, we've lost my first slide. Asha?
I think that's the first slide that I've got, so apologies. That's the first slide I've got on the deck. I do apologise, Claire.
Okay, we'll skip that first bit. So I was just going to say, I'm a really big customer enthusiast. I've always been excited by new ways to help customers access, connect, discover, and experiencing the things they want to do. So rather than talk tech per se, I'm going to talk about how we help businesses deliver amazing customer experiences through the medium of promotions. So no matter how clever marketing gets, one thing remains as true today as it always has. Customers love a discount. But promotions on the web face a frustrating and potentially revenue damaging challenge, going viral. Sure, going viral might be a strategy for some of your marketing plans, but not in the delicate art of converting sales. So enough to entice the customer, not too much that it ruins your margins. In 2014, Chris Giddens and Julius Samoy, after working in the world of affiliate marketing for many years and hearing the same frustrations over and over again, bashed their product and tech brains together to solve the problem of how to control promotions online. Using the humble, unique code, they built an engine that would put a stop to promotions being shared or leaking into places that brands didn't intend, and disrupting all of their other marketing activity, and not least eroding those precious margins. This technology wasn't just about locking down promotions, it was fundamentally about control. So once you've got ultimate control, you can send your promotions as far and as wide as you desire through emails, on site, direct mail, voucher sites, media publishers, closed group forums. You get the idea. That is the tech bit. Next slide, please, Asha. Then came a new challenge to solve. Every business's e-commerce stack is now as unique as our DNA. And we kept coming up against requirements and customer needs that the tech alone simply could not solve. That simply did not fit with the ethos of Unicodo. And we're here to solve every problem that our clients come to us with. So we tasked our promotion experts and engineers to build bespoke solutions to answer the unique challenges involved in serving promotions online. From adding layers of advanced validation methods that work across customers and products, to creating ways that activate and message promotions to customers throughout their journey online. We're constantly tuning our engine to meet any brand's needs and technical capabilities. We call this the bespoke bit. Next slide, please, Asha. Unicodo is an and business, not or. We're ultimate control and infinite reach. We're advanced promotions and activation solutions. We like to think that we are both SaaS and bespoke. As with most things in life, the what is only ever as good as the delivery. So we don't make giant clients choose. We do brilliant promotions and we deliver them with expert teams and with finesse. So we're Unicodo. We take discounts to a new level by supercharging the way that you issue and activate your promotions online. We work with some of the biggest brands across travel, retail, telco, and media, although our next specialism is only a conversation away. From silicon roundabouts to silicon flyovers, like many fledgling tech startups, our journey began in Shoreditch and now continues as we grow in Croydon. Croydon is actually the home of reinvention. So from the post-war rebuild and the commercial ambitions of Sir James Marshall to the rediscovery of Croydon for thousands of businesses, including the folks that are here in this conversation today. And so as businesses reinvent themselves to fully embrace e-commerce, certainly in the world we find ourselves in now, we at Unicodo find it rather apt that we're part of the next evolution of Croydon and in the heart of London's fastest growing tech scene. And that's us there. Hello.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Claire. Really great to hear a bit more about you, and great that obviously you were in the heart of Croydon as well and delivering such great work. Thanks very much. The next person I'd like to introduce is Andrew Burma from Land Registry. Thank you for being here, and over to you, Andrew.
Thank you, Asha, and thank you, everyone. I think this is one of those emotional, I haven't been to office now for like more than 5 months, and looking at the box park and trams is a little bit much. Land Registry moved 10-15 years ago to Croydon from Victoria in London. So it's pretty much part of, I was able to relate to government projects. This is where behind the purple building, you can probably see our logo there in the orange windows there. And I used to go and buy coffee at the bottom there. So yeah, it's pretty much out of London, but still very, very high tech. And you avoid the crowded trains. Land Registry give assurance to 7 trillion property, so most likely your house is protected, and assurance is given by Her Majesty's government. This is one of our core values. Next one, please. We have 6,000 staff, Croydon, and we have 14 other locations. We believe we are very passionate about what we do. Integrity is extremely important. All our policies are fair and inclusive. We embrace diversity. As I think Paul has mentioned, RPA, there's a lot of, we are trying and testing a lot of technology right now. You'll be seeing in the next few slides. We are also following open approach to data, so which support housing and PropTechs. We are professional, which means our skill set to do any case working is we need to continue to build in our people, support each other, challenge each other confidently. Opinions are welcome, and we have the same dealings with our customer. Our customer satisfaction score has been 90% above for the last 3 years plus. If you have a property dispute, this is probably, you will see from Land Registry, that's probably one would be able to relate to. We have been there for 150 years plus. However, that's changing now. We are going through digital transformation, and it's a journey with number of different projects. We started from 2017 working with other government departments. So changing everything digital for 25 million records. And 87% of the land registered of England and Wales is not easy, but there are a lot of exciting things going on, including blockchain technology, working with government digital service. This is how we are looking for our digital register, everything to move using blockchain. Hopefully, customers and everybody will be able to reach and see their data seamlessly. I think the challenge comes is giving that assurance and ensuring that it's safe and it's not misused. That's probably the biggest challenge, which internationally it's followed, but I think land registries across the world are thinking about it. We are also working about moving all our local land charges to digital, which means if you were taking your local land charges for the next property for 80 days, you can do it online now. We've already migrated 10 local councils, and we are planning to move most of them in the next 5 years. Because of COVID situation, we expedited our electronic signatures, which means you can use electronic signature for your extension of leases or your mortgage to get a loan. So that's one of our things which we have done in last few months. We are also working with other countries and all the government digital service for the identity checks, which is fundamental, which helps people to do it from their home, from their smartphones, using, again, various technologies. Digital Street is also one of our projects, which is a research project for home and buying, selling property, which of course everybody understands is fairly complicated and can be very, very challenging. We are trying to create a seamless work, which is working alongside other conveyancers and property developers and even IT companies like IBM. We are in a third year in a row now. We are using Chatbox for that and RPA. Glad to share also there's a digital mortgage which was launched 2 years ago now. We already have 10,000 digital mortgage done, including HSBC and Santander has been part of that. And we are planning to ramp it up a lot in the next few years. We also are, because open data is one of the challenges which will create more innovation. We have a data hub in London as well. We already have 16 prop techs, 60 million have been created, and we're using for more mapping and creating more challenges, solutions for the property market. Last few months have shown us how we have to strong, and going forward, we are trying to be more agile, much more responsive to the customer needs. And I think that's been fundamental and will take us forward in this transformation journey. We have opportunities. We have flexible working, civil service pension. Again, there are all IT jobs open to us, so do apply. Follow us on our gov.uk land registry and at land registry on the Twitter. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Anju. Lots of fab initiatives currently taking place there, so thank you very much for sharing them with us. Next up, we have Mike Bacchus from Limitless VR with some gaming tech for you. Mike, take it away.
Thank you very much, Aisha, and thank you all the other earlier speakers. It was very interesting. So hi, yeah, my name is Mike Bacchus. I'm the owner and managing director of Limitless VR in Croydon. Started the business back in 2017, and we're still here, which is a good sign. We're primarily started the business just around doing virtual reality. But before I go into that, I'll just tell you a little bit about my background. I've lived and worked around the Croydon area for the last 30 years. Went to college here, then went off to university, then came back and joined the council and worked there as a civil engineer. So built some of the flyovers and roundabouts and other things in Croydon. And then went on to do a bit of worked in the IT department of the council, and then moved on to do my own little IT consultancy firm. Before deciding a few years ago that I needed a new challenge, and that brought me to building Limitless VR in Croydon. So that new challenge was very much around wanting to do more around the entertainment scene of Croydon and bringing a new form of entertainment to the borough. And primarily it's centred around three things, which is art, music and tech. So we've got a vibrant city with a town with regard to all three aspects. One of the things that we're always keen to do is to bring out the big kid in all of us. So far at Limitless, we've had nearly 5,000 people come through the door and have enjoyed a variety of different VR experiences. As you can see from this slide, we do anything from things like zombie apocalypse games to being a Jedi, to traversing the universe on the Star Trek Enterprise. Yeah. We've had lots of people come in, and the slide you see at the moment is a game called Richie's Plank Experience. So we've had endless fun watching people walking a plank in up a virtual reality building, being about 20 stories up in the air. And we cater for a diverse range of people, anything from age 10 all the way through to age 75. This is Harry and his lady friend, as he introduced me to her. And they came in and they enjoyed things like a Van Gogh experience and things like Dali experiences as well. One of the things that we're very keen on is VR can seem like a very solitary thing, but we do anything from single player games, multiplayer games, to playing with others online as well. And we've had many corporate do's, lots of parties as well. So it's a great way for doing a bit of team building and just basically having a lot of fun with people and just having a great time, really. Yeah. So, sorry. So just a little slide from some of the things that our customers have really enjoyed doing is the opportunity to be taken off to a different reality. And I think the new reality for some of us is that we keep on hearing lots of public safety announcements, mainly around Boris and others and COVID. But due to the obviously the situation that we find ourselves in, we've had to try and rethink how we do things as well. So what we've certainly been going through over the last 5 or 6 months is obviously washing our hands a lot, but obviously as well having to rethink and reimagine our business. And I do believe that the power truly is in our hands to do that. And fortunately for me, because of the technology and solutions we have here, there's some of the infrastructure that we put in place around our network, we've been able to do that. Our VR, we've had to implement obviously a lot of new COVID safe aspects, but that we're finding at the moment that our customers are starting to come back as they become a lot more confident and return. We've got a lot of returning customers and a lot of people recommending us and saying what a safe and great environment it is to be. So as I said, we've needed to reimagine ourselves a little bit. So part of what we also do in that art, music and tech side is that we do a lot of entertainment, and we have a bar and we have lots of projectors and things like that downstairs. So we do a lot of gaming, but we used to have a lot of DJs and comedy nights and stuff like that as well. And due to the fact that we've now got less numbers coming in, we've now converted part of our space to a streaming studio. So not only are we encouraging people to come here and actually have a great time, but we're also streaming, and we're putting a lot more of the entertainment that we used to do online, so that we're opening up new revenue streams and showing our offering to people for all the way around the world. I think there's a video for this bit, Aisha.
Yeah, I think I'll just move on.
Yeah, sorry. So one of the other new aspects we brought to the businesses as well is that we are using 3D camera technology to do 3D immersive scans of properties and event spaces. And we're finding for our clients that what they're finding with this is that it helps them reduce the number of visits to potential properties. It's saving people that work within those businesses time as well, so they're not having to go round and take people round properties, or they're able to, their customers or potential clients are able to view online properties or event spaces, and they can even put on a VR headset and be inside the property and do a virtual tour around that as well. Right? So it's all quite new things for us, and we've got like different aspects to our business that we're trying to bring into our new business model, but we're certainly finding that people are enjoying what we're doing. Certainly got a bit of a wow factor to it all as well. So it's one of the things that we're trying to do is certainly with the entertainment side is to push more of social life onto social media. So that's all helping a lot. I think that's the last one, Aisha.
Lovely. Great. Thank you very much, Mike.
No problem.
Super fun stuff happening, keeping you very busy, which is great to hear. So thanks again. And last but by no means least, we have Ian Hardman from Blackthorn GRC. Welcome, Ian.
Hello there. We are Blackthorn, and I'm just going to talk about who we are and why we chose Croydon. We moved to Croydon recently, so from London, and this is what we do. So if we start, we have software with a pedigree dating back to the 1990s. So we've been using this software with various organisations internationally. We deal with case management. That's our primary software. It deals with investigation case management, fraud case management, background vetting, audit and compliance. We are 27001, we're UK based, Cyber Essentials Plus, living wage. I've got a sample of our clients here. We've got people like Boeing. For Boeing, we do like travel risk assessments. So they when they go off to places like Kazakhstan, they review their it's like on-site review, so they can review what the security situation at the hotels they are at. Another of our clients are the NHS. We collect around about $250 million a year for them. So that over 5 years, that's about enough for a new hospital every 5 years for them. We have around about 1,300 users across 22 sites. We also work for the MOD and for other defence organisations. We host up to secret. We basically have like a survey tool for them and of about 1,000 dynamically generated questions. We also work for investment houses. Fidelity is one of them. For them, we do background vetting, where we have so just keeping people safe and making sure that the people that they employ are the correct type of people. The next one. What does our product consist of? Basically, it consists of a survey module, a workflow module, an email module, and an activity manager. And it's about combining those 4 modules together into a rounded product. So therefore, there is a nice flow of information from going in to going out. It is basically one core application, and we have a number of configurations for it. And here's a number of the configurations that we have. And so we might do, for example, freedom of information requests. We may deal with anti-money laundering. We might do background vetting and things. So what are we trying to target here? This is what this slide's actually saying. So one of the things that we deal with is secure. So basically our system is different to other case management systems in that they are secure and they're fully auditable. In case management, what do we do here? So we have a central handling system. So it's not multiple systems, it's just one system. We have this sort of data paperclip, what you can see there, to actually associate information, and we can graphically spread this information across things. So if you imagine I2, if you know what I2, we do things like that. We've got things like e-forms and surveys within the system. So here we have like your standard style form, and we convert them into digital forms, and we have surveys where we do surveys. And here we're talking about workflow. So we have a number of triggers that might be either scheduled operations or from candidates filling in forms, or notifications and emails, which we can automatically process. And then we have some sort of workflow process. So a number of cogs happen under the hood that's fully configurable, that create pre-described entries and tasks that actually flow out. So we have, as with any case management system, we have dashboards, we have our canvas where you can span objects across, you can see the associations. That's quite handy when dealing with investigations, so you can actually see how things are actually spanned together. And it's all about, and when we do like skills assessments, it's about drilling down into the information. How do we host this information? So we have here, you could be either at your desk, or you could have a tablet, you can have a PC working from home these days. And basically we can suck all that information and actually securely store it. So then it's all about cyber security, about how we store this information. So we follow NIST guidelines, and from NCSE, we used to be the CSG. And basically we partner with a number of hosting providers, such as UK Cloud and SCC. And so then we're moving on to why Croydon. as we swiftly move through. We used to be based in central London, so we've had a number of locations in central London. We had to consider access for existing staff and access for how to get clients to visit. So yeah, the transport links tend to be a little bit awkward in Croydon, but we've worked around it. So why Croydon? Let's look at growth. So we wanted to have somewhere to actually some access to new staff and skill sets. We found in London that it's sometimes quite hard to hold on to people, because sometimes people move in London. People seem to move every 6 months, and therefore we needed that. We also were looking for support, so we were looking for an area where SMEs could actually join together and actually talk together, where, as other people have discussed, a WeWork sort of situation. They charge like £8,000 a month for an area that nobody ever talks to each other anyway. So that's another thing. And the final thing, which is when it comes down to, it's got to be bang for buck. You know, we were getting charged like 100k an annum for 4 people, yeah, and actually it's just not. It was just the rents were going up by 20%. Croydon rent is so much cheaper. We can work with it, and that's it. So, want to know more? There's some details about us. Is that okay? All done.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Ian. The eclectic mix of clients that you're doing great work for. So thank you very much for sharing. And that's all of our speakers today, everyone. So I don't know about you, but I've been really blown away by what's been covered today. We've had such amazing and diverse tech work from all the businesses of different shapes and sizes going on in Croydon. So it's been really fantastic to hear everyone's stories. And can we have a huge round of applause for our speakers, please? Because I think they really deserve it and they have done a great job. Everyone. So we're now going to take some questions. So I'm going to hand over to Victoria, who will be reading these out.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Thank you so much, Asha, and thank you to all the speakers. That was really inspiring. I'm going to deliver the first question to our Chief Digital Officer, Neil. Neil, Ian Vaughan asks, are you running squads right across your 100-strong IT team, like the Spotify model? If so, is this only for new digital products? How do you apply this for business as usual and legacy backend apps?
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, we're on a bit of a journey, I would say. So, you know, I wouldn't say that we're fully all the way to where we want to be in terms of getting this to work. But our ambition has been to do it across everything. So, you know, I came in and a couple of years ago and inherited what was like a kind of, it's an IT function really, and there was a bit of digital. It was definitely separate. It was happening literally somewhere else. By design, have tried to bring that all together to not have that separation, that kind of bimodal separation between people doing the, you know, funky digital stuff that gets a lot of attention, and then the IT people kind of getting forgotten about. I've deliberately tried to bring that together and say, actually, you know, we need to think about products. We need to think about how products are supported after they go live, and the people who best know what is needed next to fix a problem or identify a thing for the backlog or maybe even a new product are probably the people who are supporting the existing software. So we brought all that together. I'd say we're still on a bit of a journey. It's worked well in some parts of the team and less well in others. It's kind of, you know, lots of education, kind of culture change stuff that's taken a while to bed in. But yeah, that's definitely our ambition across the whole team, that everyone's working agile where appropriate, but also, you know, not trying to fit too many square pegs into round holes, and using waterfall and Prince 2 kind of methods where we're buying something and it's commodity IT, and we know what we're getting. So, you know, trying to fit all of that into an agile program framework. So like we're bringing everyone together into squads. They're all doing stand-ups. They're all talking about user needs, and working in a more iterative way, and, you know, applying user-centered design even to the implementing off-the-shelf products, and as much as possible trying to kind of have that kind of cross-fertilization of ideas across the team.
Fantastic, thank you. more of a comment for Saffron from the Sussex Innovation Centre. Paul says, love the Female Founders Network. That was brilliant to hear about. And then straight afterwards, we had a question from G Subramanian saying, how can business in London get involved? And is there an option to contribute? So I'm assuming, because that question was asked while you were speaking, Saffron, that was for you.
Yeah, so well, everything's on our website. So if you go to www.Sussex Innovation Centre, which the acronym is SINC.co.uk, and then just go to our events page, you'll be able to find all of our monthly events that are there, and everything's virtual at the moment. We're always welcoming new female founders. It's something that we feel really passionately about, and it's a movement which is gaining traction as the years go by. So yeah, welcome.
Fantastic, thank you. Colin from cadaver.com asks, Francoise, is the funding advice included as part of the office space cost?
Yeah, we do, and it's not programmatic. It's we do things on a case-by-case basis. As you know, I'm sure you do. All entrepreneurs have the same problems, but in a different order. Some of them come with great tech and no clue about running a business, or vice versa. Great salespeople, customers they've promised the moon to. Now they need to backfill the tech, make sure the product works, or staffing, or culture. So all of the problems are just in a different order. So we start with whatever the company needs at the time. This is not programmatic. I don't believe in accelerators or anything programmatic means that all companies has to fit inside the same program, and that's not the reality of most startups today.
Fantastic, thank you. Richard asks, well, he was saying in response to Paul's presentation from Superdrug, I was interested in the reference to RPA, robotic process automation, from Paul, wondering how widely this might be being used by others in the call and how they are finding the experience. So I don't know if there are any guests on the call, or maybe any of the other speakers who might be able to respond to that. A bit of an open question there. Otherwise, Paul, I know you responded to Rich, if you wanted to elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, I'm happy to elaborate a little bit. So I think RPA as a journey is a challenge for most organizations. It's there are hurdles to getting it in place. Clearly the technology works and it's worked for a number of years, but potentially there are organizational barriers to achieving this. The threat of roles and jobs, and is this to take a job away, or is this to enable me to do something up the value stream? And I think before we really get into RPA journeys, that conversation needs to be had, and it needs to be clear, and there needs to...
Uh-oh, a robot took over.
I thought that was just me. Okay. Hopefully we'll...
Shall we jump to the next question?
Yes, hopefully Paul will come back soon. Can everyone hear me still?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, good. I have a question for Andrew from the Land Registry. How have your users responded to all of these new products that you've been developing? Has there been lots of enthusiasm or unexpected barriers or resistance to this innovation?
I think it's gone very well. So we've been, Land Registry is known for probably the last 15-20 years there was nothing was happening. We started digital transformation from end of 2017. So in that last 1.5-2 years, the response has been amazing from the community. In fact, the conveyancers, the government digital service, and everywhere. So response has been good. I think there is a little bit of criticism, which is fair, and we take it on our chin because we have to be professional. It's like, are you investing so much time in digital transformation at the cost of not processing our applications? So there is a backlog, because ultimately your job is to service on a day-to-day and improve that efficiency of registering when you buy a new house. So you expect, that's the bare minimum expectations, that commitment always comes first. So there has been pressure on that, and we definitely accept that criticism. We are looking for ways to improve that. So our core base is good. The other transformation is wider and supports the government agenda, economy, working together with industry, even private sector. So that's icing on the cake. But the main ingredient has to be good as well. So yeah, we have our challenges.
Thank you. Paul, welcome back. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I'm so sorry. My laptop battery died at an entirely inopportune moment.
There were jokes about the robots taking over.
That's right. How unfortunate.
Would you like to pick up where you left off?
Yeah. So I guess the starting point here was work out what is the purpose for the automation. Is it purely cost reduction, which truly does lead to some role reduction potentially, or is it allowing the employee to move up the value stream by eliminating easily repeatable tasks, and having that line from a top-down level is critical to providing the sort of emotional support for the people whose roles are possibly impacted. Otherwise they just won't help, and you do need the people doing the jobs that are going to be automated to be part of the journey. We found that from software selection point of view, much of a muchness, a bunch of them work. Some work, some are going to be better at some things and some are better from another, but that didn't feel like at this point of the journey the critical piece. Choosing the technology wasn't for starting a journey, wasn't the biggest issue, because fine, you're trying to prove a concept that RPA works and is good for the value and good for the business, and you can scale or move on. So that felt like that wasn't the biggest thing to waste the time on, was the technology selection there. And then the challenge that we're now coming to overcome is how do we grow an internal team to be a product team and a squad that can continue to do this and keep adding value, because the demand once you sell it and once you get people in is almost limitless. But therefore you need an automation product team in reality to be able to help you get into doing the quick little wins, because there's thousands of little things that you could automate. And you need people, permanent people, to be able to do that. Otherwise you're going to be beholden to very expensive contractors or very expensive service companies, and you're not going to be nimble. So that's the next part of the journey once we've got the benefit to start staffing up around it.
It's very interesting. It sounds like the technology is the easy bit, Paul.
It is broadly the easy part of the things. It's culture and teams that's going to be the bit that's a challenge.
Cool. Thank you.
We have, I was just about to hand back to Asher, but we do have another question that's popped in. It's a question for both Croydon, I'm assuming that means the Croydon Digital Service, and Land Registry. There is a trend to call new developments products. How would you define a digital product, especially to an organisation with a traditional IT section, with traditional hierarchy of infrastructure and development teams? And how do you source the multidisciplinary team squads as you are taking resource out of a traditional structure who already have a workload and BAU? So I've already picked on Neil previously. So Andrew, I'm going to put this question to you as a ways of working question, if that's all right.
Thank you very much. So I'm just trying to read the question again.
So first of all, how do we define a digital product, and how do you pull together the multidisciplinary teams that you're developing the products with?
So I think product is ultimately has to be used for somebody. Digital is just a mechanism. So unless digital becomes easy because that's a technology makes it accessible. If you only look at from digital perspective, you probably will miss on something. So if you are applying, let's say, for home office or visa, if you don't understand how they are actually going to get access to that, laptop or the app, then you're missing the point. So you have to look wider. And how do we ensure that the team is multidisciplinary? Is also there has to be, even before the user journey mapping and user research, there has to be a stakeholder mapping as well. which ensures who are the most influential one, who are the most important one, who can make a who the product is for, and who's the decision maker. So there is a lot of background stakeholder mapping, including your immediate customers and partners and service providers. How do you ensure that resources and workload? Again, I think everybody has mentioned in terms of agile. We are also working in agile fashion. It's sometimes you go and evolve as you go along the project, because some of those technologies may fail, some of those challenges may come. You invest, so you can't plan too much well in advance. Multidisciplinary team and workshops is obviously a great idea as well. So I hope I've answered the questions, but if there is anything more anybody wants to add, then
Thank you.
I can waffle on a bit about what a product is from my perspective. So we kind of, I think the important thing is about product management, product ownership, and we have a wide-ranging list of products, and some of them are kind of obvious things like websites that kind of need someone to own them. And well, the sort of defining characteristic would be that it's a thing that has users, and that we know what the users need of it, and it's a thing that needs looking after, and someone to kind of care about prioritizing what improvements happen to it, and even potentially retiring it when it gets to end of life. So for us, that's things like the Croydon Council website. It's also things like it's a platform that actually are part of multiple services. So there's kind of service ownership and product ownership as things that kind of work together. But also we take something like Microsoft Teams. So we're a Microsoft house, a council, and we've obviously had a lot of work to do recently with Microsoft Teams and supporting that for all of our users. Now, clearly, Microsoft own that as a product, but we have the concept of assigning that to a product owner in our organization, so that somebody is thinking about being the expert on how to use this thing in our context and how we're rolling it out and how our users are getting on with it and what we need to do next. So in a more sort of traditional IT, bringing the traditional IT work into that framework, some of it will be these kind of off-the-shelf products. So in a council, for example, we've got hundreds of line of business pieces of software that power like planning system and schools admissions and housing, tenancies and council tax collection and so on and so on. These are all off-the-shelf products that we've usually gone out and run a tender and bought and then implemented, and they haven't historically had product ownership. So it's kind of a problem really that nobody is thinking like, what is the whole use of this product? Is it meeting the needs fully? What do we need to do with it next? And that's where we're trying to go, actually, that would be really helpful, wouldn't it? If we had somebody who was collating and managing a backlog of all of the things that need to improve around all of the bits of technology that people rely on, so that we're and lobbying for like when this needs to be upgraded or replaced or changed. Also spotting the duplication to, again, in a council, loads of things. A lot of them will have duplicative functions, and we need to kind of get a better grip on what those are. I don't know if that answers the question. The other thing is, in terms of resourcing, it's a combination of bringing in new skills that weren't there before. So the Amy's home office slide where she showed, all the digital data and technology job roles that they have in the home office, like a lot of that stuff didn't really exist in a traditional IT team. So we brought in product management, user research, content design, interaction design, user-centered design thinking, and agile delivery management, and aligned that with the traditional roles that were in an IT team, software support, engineers, and so on, and helping those people to, kind of learn from each other. Really, that's been our aim.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that, Neil. Thank you for nominating me as well to help answer the question. I think a product is essentially it's what we need to build to help the user do whatever it is they need to do. And when they come to the council, they're not there really to admire our beautifully written content pages. They're there to do something, and we've pulled together multidisciplinary teams to help them achieve that aim. And that's why it can't just be what one role, one developer deciding what the best thing to do is. We need our content designers and our user researchers and our interaction designers to come together and do the user research and do the hard work to make it simple. I think that's probably it. We've got 1 minute till 5. So Asha, I'm going to hand back over to you to do the closing remarks.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Victoria. And sadly, that brings us all to the end of our event, which has flown by and has been a blast. So a big thank you again to our speakers, but more importantly, to everyone that has given up their time to attend. It's been really great to have you here, and I really hope that you enjoyed the session and got something out of it. And if there is anyone that you'd like me to put you in touch with, if you think of other questions, please don't hesitate to drop me a line and I will facilitate introductions for you. So thank you again, and we hope to see you all at the next event. So goodbye.
Thank you, Asha. Thank you for organising.
Thanks, Asha.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.